with Ninkaroli Bank Baba, the Chamatkari Baba. So I'm going to talk about uh, the Chamatkari Baba, Ninkaroli Baba. I know that he doesn't need an introduction. He doesn't need an introduction because especially during recent time, people have heard about him and they are more connecting to him. Day by day, the popularity of this miraculous Baba is increasing day by day. Even you can say second by second. When I have started my Facebook channel and WhatsApp channel to create awareness about Ninkaroli Baba, there were there were a few who were aware about him. Marginal. Later on, people came to know more about him. Many people attended curious ones, attended my workshops, even meditation sessions about Ninkaroli Baba, and they got initiated, they got inspired and got connected with Ninkaroli Baba. Initially, they were very curious, and then started searching in, they started googling, searching out. Now many people know about Ninkaroli Baba. Even the rush to Kainchi, the it's marvelous because only countable, only limited number of devotees or the faithful ones traveled to Kaichidam and to get the blessings of Ninkaroli Baba. But now the line, you won't believe, the line is so big. The serpentine line is so big that it takes hours and hours and hours, just like in Tirupati. It takes much more in Shirdi. Every day people flock to Kaichi Dham, where the real essence of Ninkaroli Baba can be felt. Even in Vrindavan, but the real essence of Baba can be felt in Kaichi Dham. But the true and preliminary and the last essence of Baba, if you really want to feel and sense, the essence has to be sensed from your heart, just like Lord Hanuman or Hanumanji had felt this essence of Rama and Sita in his heart. So, if you are a true believer in any guru or the divinity, you have to sense the essence in your heart. People say just go out and search. Go out and search. आप बाहर जाकर भी आपके भगवान को ढूंढ सकता है, लेकिन real God is within you. The real essence of God needs to be sensed within you. You can go out and find God, but you cannot carry the God within. आपके अंदर भगवान को आप महसूस कर सकता है, then you don't need to go out, even no need of any pilgrimage. But why we have to do pilgrimage, why we have to visit such sacred places, that I will talk in some other video. Yes, surely you should pay, because the real energy of the gurus, or the real energy of what do you say, the divinity is there. It's there. So visiting such sacred places definitely enlighten you, definitely activate and enhance spiritual consciousness in you, thus helping you in your life ahead. So Ninkaroli Baba, as you all know, he is known as the miracle man, Chamatkari Baba. And he was not much popular in India, but even the presidents, the political leaders, as well as the kings, even normal people heard about him and paid visit to him. It is documented. He had created miracles, lying on his coir bed, stretching his body and keeping his leg over the other on the knee of the left leg, with the big tummy and with the big smile, the gigantic body, the muscular body. He created miracles. He created miracles in the life of many people. But the world came to know about, even to be truly speaking, इंडियन लोग भी बाहर के दुनिया के लोग जब बोलने लगा, इंडिया में आकर निंकरोली बाबा के बारे में बात करने लगा, then people came to know. Or India may when the popularity of Ninkaroli Baba got widened or spread or increased after Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook founder, in an interview on a stage interview discussion with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he explained his connection with the Guru Ninkaroli Baba. And Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, got the suggestion or the guidance from another iconic man who had really created a miracle in the world, who had really chipped in wonders in technology and innovation, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs से सुना था निगरोली बाबा के बारे में. On Steve Jobs, the dynamic, the enthusiastic, the scientist like minded, differently thinking, divergently thinking, Steve Jobs was caught up with a lot of confusion, and he was addicted to some bad habits in I don't want to discuss about such things. So he was a wanderer. He was just like a gypsy. जिप्सी बनकर घूम रहा था. तो जिप्सी बनकर घूमने वाले को पूरा दुनिया में एक जगह मिलता है स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए, शांति के लिए, एनलाइटनमेंट के लिए. और कुछ जगह नहीं है और किधर जगह नहीं है. इट इज ओनली वन प्लेस इन द वर्ल्ड दैट इज इंडिया एंड हिमालयाज एंड ऑल द प्लेसेस. एंड निकरोली बाबा के बारे में स्टीव जॉब्स ने नहीं सुना था. इंडिया में जिप्सी बनकर घूमने के टाइम he heard about, he was having a lot of problems. He heard about one Baba, and out of curiosity he visited Ninkaroli Baba. And he met Ninkaroli Baba. After meeting Ninkaroli Baba, he left to his place. And you know that what happened in his life. What happened in his life is a story, but what happened to the world, what contribution Steve Jobs had given to the world is the magic, is the miracle, is the real story. We got Apple. In the world got Apple. Everyone now chasing, dreaming for Apple. The world got Apple. If Ninkaroli Baba had not done anything in his life, he is from a Christian background. He was from a Christian background. If one Indian miracle, forget about the miracle that Ninkaroli Baba had created. If Steve Jobs didn't have that recognition or the gratitude or the faith that Ninkaroli Baba जैसा एक बाबा ने कुछ उसके लाइफ को चेंज नहीं किया, then निंकरोली बाबा के बारे में क्यों ओपनली स्टीव जॉब्स ने बात किया? जब स्टीव जॉब्स ने ओपनली बात किया तभी दुनिया ने सुना. क्यों स्टीव जॉब्स ने निंकरोली बाबा के बारे में बात किया दुनिया के सामने? why he talked about निंकरोली बाबा? क्योंकि निंकरोली बाबा ने स्टीव जॉब्स को टेंशन वाला, cluttered mind, monkey minded, what to do, what not to do, confused mind, Steve Jobs, technically sounded, curious, enterprising, but he was failed to deliver. He was confused what to do. और जब निंकरोली बाबा ने उसके लाइफ को ट्रांसफॉर्म किया, लाइफ बदल दिया, चेंजेस आ गया. इसलिए स्टीव जॉब्स had talked about Ninkaroli Baba and taken the name of his guru who had really changed his mind, his life. And people came to know about Ninkaroli Baba. At that time also, Indians were not that much curious because Indians always question the things, and that is the beauty of India. That's why all the spiritual knowledge have or is in India, because we question the things. But the problem is we only question. We want free results, but we question. But Think about the Ninkaroli Baba, like sages who lived, who still live in the beautiful place that God has chosen for spirituality, India. हम लोग भूल जाता है हमेशा, हमको दूसरे से सुनने के बाद अपना वैल्यू होता है। जैसे योगा भी, योगा किधर था, आर्यभट्टा सुश्रुदा जैसे लोग किधर था, लेकिन सुनेगा बाकी लोगों से तभी कुछ जाकर करेगा, सीखने जाता है। इट्स अ वेरी सैड स्टोरी, इट्स ओके, लेव इट, इट्स अ बिग स्टोरी, सैड दो बट बिग। तो जब दुनिया को स्टीव जॉब्स से थ्रू निकरोले बाबा के बारे में बात समझ में आया, एंड मार्क जकरबर्ग जो जिसने फेसबुक को the founder of Facebook was also passing through some troubles in his life. Some troubles in his life. Steve Jobs, whom Mark Zuckerberg considers as an iconic and leader, the dynamic and inspiring and enterprising personality. Mark Zuckerberg, like people always look up to the great people like Steve Jobs. At this moment, I just pay my respect to Steve Jobs for bringing wonderful innovation to the world. Apple. Nobody had ever dreamt about this. Nobody had ever thought that this much big of chips could be put in a very small place and could give the sleek, sexy, very innovative Apple to the world. Who thought that lakhs and lakhs of music would be available in on small piece, hand piece, iTunes? Steve Jobs, the visionary, envisioned that. Sad story is the people he supported, the people he walked with, ditched him later, and he had to leave Apple. दैट इज अ सैड स्टोरी। दुनिया में अच्छा करने निकल जाते, साथ में देने वाला और बाहर कर देने वाला भी आपको कभी ना कभी डिच करता है, बट द शो मस्ट गो ऑन। एनीवेज, एप्पल स्टीव जॉब्स को निकाला, लेकिन एप्पल स्टीव जॉब्स से अभी भी कनेक्टेड है। जो भी कंपनी में बात में आया, एंड दोज हु वर्कड to create Apple in a good way, because many people had struggled hard to make Apple in the way it's today. We have to respect that, because कभी कभी दूसरे लोगों की वजह से कंपनी बड़ा होता है, एंड when Steve Jobs slipped his feet, others took over. अभी एप्पल को इतना दुनिया में लेके आया, लेकिन we don't know, we don't talk about their names, we talk about Steve Jobs. कल फेसबुक के लिए दूसरा कोई आएगा, बट वी विल ऑलवेज थिंक एंड टॉक अबाउट मार्क जकरबर्ग। तो जो भी कुछ क्रिएट करेगा उसका नाम कभी कोई बोलता नहीं है, उसका याद हमेशा आएगा, उसका इज्जत हमेशा होगा, क्योंकि वो एक ही पीस है, वो एक ही शक्ति है, एक ही पीस है। उस पीस का मॉर्फिंग नहीं कर सकता है, क्लोनिंग नहीं कर सकता है। इट्स अ फैक्ट। So when Mark Zuckerberg was having a lot of problems in his life, Mark Zuckerberg के लाइफ में भी प्रॉब्लम्स आया, स्टीव जॉब्स ने recommend किया। क्या recommend किया? नीम करोली बाबा, the miracle man in India. Mark Zuckerberg founded Facebook. He got the clarity in his thinking. He got divine consciousness and blessing through नीम करोली बाबा. एंड स्टिल हम लोग के दुनिया में फेसबुक के जैसा सब चीज़ आ गया। सो बहुत लोग तो बाहर आकर नीम करोली बाबा का नाम लेता है, बाबा के साथ का चमत्कार बात करते हैं। बहुत लोग मेरे थ्रू जो बाबा के बारे में सुना, पहले पहले बोलता था, बाद में बोला या नहीं बोला, आई डोंट नो। बहुत लोग मेरा नीम करोली बाबा का मेडिटेशन अटेंड करता था, एंड दे यूज्ड टू टॉक अबाउट बिग अबाउट नीम करोली बाबा। लेटर ऑन, I don't know, many left, many stick on, many retain, remain. It happens in our life, everyone's life. कितने लोग नीम करोली बाबा के बारे में गलत भी बोलता था, साईं बाबा के बारे में भी कितने लोग गलत बोलता था, लेकिन the grace of such revered divine creations हमेशा वैसे ही रहेगा। कोई भी कुछ भी बोलने दो, अच्छा काम करने वाले को कुछ भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. They only do their duties and they always focus on their duties. कोई हो या नहीं हो, they always focus on their duties. So आज के दिन it is एकादशी और आज के दिन ईद मुबारक भी है. क्यों दो दिन, ये दोनों बहुत महत्वपूर्ण दिन है, महत्वपूर्ण सेलिब्रेशंस है. दोनों very powerful things, very energetic, graceful things, celebrations, unity in diversity, unity in strength. So आज के दिन हम लोग सब एकादशी भी विश किया. आज के दिन सबको, हमारे भाई बहन लोगों को ईद मुबारक भी विश किया. नींकरोली बाबा, why he is very important, why I thought to come in front of you. मैंने नहीं सोचा, प्लीज मैंने नहीं सोचा, उस बाबा ने मेरे अंदर, मेरे इस जगह पे, he put that, please go out and talk about the miracles that I have created. Let people come to know about me. And in this regard, I want to once again extend my gratitude to Ramdas, the Param Bhakt, the devout follower of Ninkaroli Baba, जिसने बाहर के दुनिया में जाकर बाबा के बारे में लिखा. बाबा के, he compiled together the stories about Ninkaroli Baba, and he had written many books about Ninkaroli Baba, और पूरा दुनिया के सामने Ninkaroli Baba के stories पेश किया. Thank you so much, Ramdas. And once again, I wish to extend my gratitude to Krishna Das. आप कृष्णदास नहीं, आप निंगरोली बाबा दास है. You compose music and you conduct bhajans about Ninkaroli Baba. Thank you so much, Krishnadas, and thank you so much to all the wonderful people who listen about such revered men and the good creations of Lord. We are also good creations of Lord, but some are distinct from us, because God has given that distinction, because they are want to create marvels, miracles, and transformation in the life of you. So, my dear followers, my beloved ones who are watching, please share, kindly share this live. Kindly share this live. I'm going to read the beautiful story, some of the beautiful stories about Ninkaroli Baba from the book Miracle of Love. And other friend, I want to show how smiling he is. She is smiling, cheering up. You see. Take the blessing of Ninkaroli Baba and let's begin. Let's begin. श्रावण महीना भी आ रहा है. So I want to infuse and instill some spiritual consciousness in you. So while praying, while doing the puja on Ekadashi, Baba had told me and whispered ears to do this. I'm just carrying forward, and Ninkaroli Baba, everyone who considers you as the miraculous Baba, the miracle creator, who lived a very simple life but create wonderful things in your life. You had created miracles in the life of others. You had created magic in the life of others. People flocked through to you to receive your guidance, and you have transformed. You had transformed their lives. We heard about wonderful miracles that you had created. People always respected you, and still your name and fame is getting increased day by day. And we feel very proud to hear about you, to get connected with you. Ninkaroli Baba, thank you so much for being in me and being infusing your energies in me. Hereforth, I am going to read and just narrate the beautiful miracles that you had created, compiled by Ramdas, your devout Bhakt, to the world. Let your name be heard, let your name be written, let your name be spoken. Let the faith in you will be engaged and resurrected by the people, and let or you create miracles in the life of others. This is my sincere prayers to you, Ninkaroli Baba. I sincerely pray to you to create miracles in the life of all those who will hear these stories about you. And I'm going to read out which was compiled by Ramdas, your Parambhakt, just like just like Hanumanji, the Parambhakt of Sri Ram. I don't want to take any credit of the things done by others. I never intend to. I don't want the credit. I give all credit to Ramdas who compiled the book. I give all credit to you for giving me that wisdom, that sense and sensibility to come here and narrate your miracles in front of the people who are watching. Hope your stories will be heard, your stories will be spread, and I know that the people who are watching will share your stories, even the YouTube link. Please take me from here. I'm just doing the duty, but it's you who are performing it actually, in fact. So, thank you, Ninkaroli Baba. Thank you and bless us all and create miracles in our lives. This moment, I wish to pray to you to protect the people, to safeguard the people who are worried about their life, who have lost their life near ons due to natural calamities, those who are suffering from chronic as well as small illnesses. Due to the climate change, a lot of people are suffering from cold and cough, even viral fever. Please heal them. I also seek your attention here to heal all the emotional, mental, and physical, even spiritual illness that many are passing through. The miracle, Baba, Ninkaroli Baba, with my folded hands, I pray to you to heal the world, which is my mission. Please, I need your blessing. Please create the magic. Please create the real magic, the miracle man, the miracle guru. Thank you. Hello everyone, let me start. I will read because I know that many of you don't have this much big book, or you don't have the time or the liberty to read, but I will do the honor on your behalf. This is the book compiled by Ramdas. When it was written, I don't know. The first it was written in 1995. It was first written in 1995 by the devout follower, the faithful follower of Maharajji Ninkaroli Baba. He is also known as Maharajji. Please share this link in as much as places. Please प्रतीक निंकरोली बाबा के हर ग्रुप में, आप बहुत ग्रुप्स में हैं, प्लीज़ निंकरोली बाबा के बारे में लोग सुने, आज एकादशी के दिन बाबा के बारे में लोग समझे. प्लीज़ शेयर दिस लाइव, दिस यूट्यूब लिंक in as many as places, Ninkaroli Baba ke places and other places. This is my humble request to Pradeep Saini and others who can also be considered as the devout followers of Ninkaroli Baba. Please let people come to know about Ninkaroli Baba. I am going to read about him. I am going to narrate about him. I am going to create an awareness about Ninkaroli Baba in the world. मैंने इसलिए फेसबुक पेजेस एंड व्हाट्सएप पेजेस क्रिएट किया, इसलिए मैं मेडिटेशन क्लासेस कंडक्ट करता हूँ. सो आई नीड द सपोर्ट एंड प्रेयर्स फ्रॉम प्रदीप सैनी लाइक devotees. Here, let me carry. मेरे बाबा. ओके, बहुत लोगों को कमेंट्स है, सब लोगों को नमस्ते, ईद मुबारक एंड एकादशी विशेस. थैंक यू सो मच. एंड बाबा के जो फ्रंट पेज में लिखा है फॉर महाराज जी, बिकॉज महाराज जी निंकरोली बाबा को सब लोग महाराज जी बोलता था बुला के रेस्पेक्ट से. whose presence reveals how subtle is the path of love. सो सर हिंदी में, ये इंग्लिश का बुक है तो मैं हिंदी में भी बात करता हूँ. इंग्लिश का बुक है क्योंकि रामदास ने, रामदास आप लोग जानता होगा, आई डोंट नो, ही वाज अ कंपोजर, ही वाज अ रॉक स्टार, ही वाज अ रॉक स्टार। रामदास नींकरोली बाबा का भक्त बन गया और उसके बाद नींकरोली बाबा के बारे में पूरी दुनिया में स्प्रेड किया, बाबा के बारे में लिखना, बोलना, प्रवचन करना चालू किया। एंड रामदास ने इंडिया में आकर लोगों को मिलकर बाबा के टाइम में जो जिंदा था उस लोगों को और उसके बाद जिसको भी मिला उसके साथ या वाया 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 सब ही कंपाइल्ड टुगेदर, डॉक्यूमेंटेड, जिस जितना भी सुना बाबा के बारे में और बाबा के बारे में सुना और खुद जो एक्सपीरियंस किया उसके बारे में उसने बुक्स लिखा और दुनिया में स्प्रेड किया। जैसे स्टीव जॉब्स ने बोला, जैसे मार्क सकरबर्ग ने सकरबर्ग ने इंडियन प्राइम मिनिस्टर को स्टेज के ऊपर बैठ कर नीकरोली बाबा के बारे में बोला, दुनिया को क्यूरियस हो गया कौन है नीकरोली बाबा। उसके बाद तो बहुत यूट्यूब चैनल्स बन गया, बहुत लोग लिखना चालू किया, अभी तो फैशन हो गया नीकरोली बाबा के बारे में। फेसबुक बहुत पेजेस भी है। जब मैं व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप जो क्रिएट किया उसी टाइम तो बहुत कम लोग था, बहुत काउंटेबल लोग था, उन लोग बाबा के बारे में सुना भी नहीं था। मुझे पूछता था नीकरोली बाबा कौन है, मे बी एट अनदर बाबा, क्योंकि भारत एक देश है, इंडिया एक देश है, उधर बाबा लोगों से ही भर भर कर बाबा लोग मिलेगा, बिकॉज ऑफ देयर ब्लेसिंग्स दैट इंडिया इज कंसिडर्ड एज अ स्पिरिचुअल सेंटर इन द वर्ल्ड। ईस्टर्न फिलोसफी बोलते, ईस्टर्न स्पिरिचुअलिज्म बोल सकता है, लेकिन वेस्टर्न स्पिरिचुअलिज्म हैड स्टडीड from eastern spiritualism because Hinduism is oldest religion, so obviously एक से दूसरा सीख कर आता है, एक से सीख कर आता है, मे बी दूसरे किसी से सीखा होगा, मेरे से पहले पहले था, तो मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता मैं तो ऐसे ही पैदा होकर ऐसे ही सीख कर आया, नहीं, तो जो सबसे पहले था उससे सीखकर लोग करता है। मेडिटेशन, ध्यान इंडिया से ओरिजिनेट हुआ, right? Even we heard, I don't know the fact, but we heard that even Jesus Christ visited India and did penance and meditation in Himalayas. हम लोग इधर हर रिलीजन, दिस इज नॉट रिलीजियस प्लेटफॉर्म, स्पिरिचुअल प्लेटफॉर्म है। मेरी जो रात को 8 बजे हम लोग जो प्रार्थना करता है उधर रिलीजन नहीं है, सब लोग आता है, सब रिलीजन का लोग आता है, इसलिए वहाँ पे लोग आकर प्रार्थना करता है, बच्चे से लेकर एज लोग तक, हर रिलीजन, हर कास्ट, हर क्रीड, हर स्टेटस, they come and do the prayer for themselves and others. This is a magic. नींकरोली बाबा एक सिंबल था, सैफरॉन या वाइट कलर कुछ ड्रेस नहीं था, या गले में पूरा रुद्राक्ष नहीं पहना था, न टिका लगाकर घूमता था, एकदम सिंबल, द मैन नेक्स्ट डोर, द फ्रंट नेक्स्ट डोर बोल सकता है। हमेशा हम लोग किधर ना किधर देखा, एक अंकल जैसा था। He always sat on his choir bed outside and सब लोगों को मिलता था। साईं बाबा और नींकरोली बाबा की एक स्पेशलिटी है, मेरा भी थोड़ा, आई डोंट नो, आई एम नॉट, मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता हूँ मैं आई एम एनी अवतार ऑफ एनीबॉडी, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट एनी इनकारनेशन ऑफ एनीबॉडी, एज आई डू हैव द ब्लेसिंग्स ऑफ द गुरुज। मे बी नींकरोली बाबा के जैसे, जब व्हेन आई एम सिटिंग लाइंग ऑन सोफा और बेड में या सोफा में, व्हेन आई एम लाइंग, मेरा पैर और मेरा बॉडी लैंग्वेज इज ऑल्सो सेम। बहुत लोग बोलता है योर नोज इज सिमिलर टू नींकरोली बाबा, योर फेस, योर forehead, I don't know. If you're comparing me with him, I'm nowhere near नींकरोली बाबा। नींकरोली बाबा जैसे बाबा के आजू बाजू तक मैं नहीं हूँ, लेकिन आप कंपेयर कर रहे हैं, दिस इज माई ब्लेसिंग, क्योंकि थोड़ा उसके फीचर्स मुझे है। आई एम वेरी हैप्पी दैट यू आर कनेक्टिंग मी विद द फीचर्स ऑफ बाबा। इससे मैं महान नहीं होगा, या मुझे महान नहीं बनना है। महान उन लोग हैं, वो महान है, मैं तो महान नहीं है। आई एम सिर्फ ए मैन, आई एम नॉट ए महान, आई एम जस्ट ए मैन। बट द फीचर्स इज अ ब्लेसिंग ना, जैसा बोलते हैं ना, पेरेंट्स का फीचर्स तुमको है, सबको कुछ करने का फीचर्स तुमको है, हील करने का फीचर्स तुमको है, तो कुछ गुरु लोगों का भी फीचर्स मिले, इट्स अ ब्लेसिंग इन डिस्गाइज, द रियल ब्लेसिंग इन ब्लेसिंग, and I'm obliged and grateful for that. And when I sit, I always sit like Sai Baba. I'm not copying anybody, but it's my posture. I was not aware of this. किसी ने मैंने जो सोफा में लेट रहा था, and that person is also heard about Ninkaroli Baba. That person told me, you have the features, and your body language as well as you like, but body physic is physical aspects are different. सो बाबा बहुत सिंपल रहता था, ना रुद्राक्ष पहनता था, ना ऐसे स्टोन्स या कुछ भी नहीं पहनता था, सिंपल। कोई आता था भगता था, उसको एप्पल देता था, लड्डू देता था, जो भी एक बनाता था वो शेयर करता था। और बड़ा बड़ा भाषण या प्रीचिंग या आजकल के स्वामी संत लोग जो गोल्डन थ्रोन फुल फ्लावर्स म्यूजिक म्यूजिक, वैसा नहीं करता था। He was very simple. He sat on his bed or on the floor. He was always a people's man. People's man. बाबा तो हमेशा कंबल वाले बाबा। यस यस प्रदीप, आपने एक बराबर लिखा, कंबल कंबल वाले बाबा। सब लोग तो यही देख सकते, कंबल से कंबल सिंपल, जैसे हमारा दादाजी हो, हमारा पिताजी हो, मामा हो, चाचा हो, दादा हो, घर की बाजू का अंकल हो, वैसे ही दिखता था। गांव का कोई मुखिया हो, वैसे ही दिखता था। निकरो बाबा सिम हैड दैट, कोई भी बड़ा टिक्का लगाना लगाता था पूजा दूसरे लोग करने के टाइम में ना। ही यूज टू डू योगा, यूज टू डू मेडिटेशन एंड ऑल, दैट्स डिफरेंट। वो रूम बंद करके करता था, लेकिन ना रुद्राक्ष पहनता था, स्टोन पहनता था, लेकिन सबका हील करता था, जड़ी बूटी रिकमेंड करता था, मिरेकल्स जादू करता था। तो जो बड़ा बड़ा स्वामी लोग होता है ना, जो आजकल स्वर्ण सिंहासन में गोल्डन थ्रोन में बैठता था, या म्यूजिक सिस्टम पीछे से पम 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 लव करता था, वो सब नहीं था। ही वाज अ वेरी सिंपल बाबा। I can say a teacher, a guru, a very good friend, a philosopher. He was just like, even he was not that much proficient in language. हाँ, आई डोंट नो, आई डोंट, वो तो मेरा बहाल गया बाबा के जैसा। एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी। My nose also matches. My nose also matches. I don't know. आई डोंट नो, बाकी लोग बोलता है। मुझे कंपेयर मत कीजिए इतना बड़ा बाबा से, वो भी पुण्य बड़ा का, इट्स अ ब्लेसिंग। तो बाबा बहुत सिंपल था। उस बाबा के बारे में, बिकॉज दिस बुक इज रिटन इन इंग्लिश, तो मैं आपको स्लोली पढ़कर सिखाता हूँ। इट्स सी वी ऑलवेज हियर अबाउट स्पिरिचुअल डिस्कोर्सेस, वी ऑलवेज listen to the books, even Sai Satchidra, even Bhagavad Gita and all. I have all the books, you can see. मैं सब बाइबल कुरान भी पढ़ता हूँ, सब दुनिया का सब चीज़ पढ़ता हूँ। सो ये बाबा के बारे में, निंकरोली बाबा के बारे में जो रामदास ने लिखा है, miracles. Let's see, and the book's name is Miracle of Love. Miracle of Love. और आप लोग तो मेरे से प्यार से कनेक्टेड होते हैं। लव वर्ड में हमेशा भक्ति, भक्ति एक प्यार है। पैसा से ज़्यादा मैं लव वर्ड को बहुत कनेक्ट करता हूँ। एंड यू नो दैट पीपल जस्ट शावर द लव टू मी, सो हु बेटर कैन टेक दिस वर्ड दैन मी। प्यार के बारे में, द मिरेकल ऑफ लव में, मेरे ग्रुप्स में भी प्यार के बारे में लोग लिखता है, बोलता है, दे टॉक अबाउट लव इन बिग वे, एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी दैट द रियल मिरेकल ऑफ लव हैपेंस इन आवर ग्रुप्स। सो बाबा की इस बुक के, लेट मी गो थ्रू द स्टोरीज डायरेक्टली, नहीं तो लेट हो जाएगा आप लोगों को। द बीज कम, मैं बाबा के बारे में उसी टाइम जो रामदास ने कुछ बाबा कहे हैं ना, आई विल शो द फोटोज। आप लोग देखा होगा, बहुत लोग जिसको मालूम नहीं उन लोग को दिखा रहा हूँ। सी कंबल वाला बाबा कैसा था, इज रोमांटिक, लाइक एन आर्टिस्ट एंड हीरो, हीरो लाइक। ऐसा ही नेचर में बैठ कर ही इज एंजॉइंग, करेक्ट, नेचर में बैठ कर ही इज एंजॉइंग। वाओ, दैट्स अ ब्यूटी, इट्स अ मेडिटेशन। सी, being with the nature, मैं हमेशा बोलती cooking is a meditation, reading about such revered energies is a meditation, right? Okay, uh, आज हमारे ग्रुप में भजन हुआ, हमारे ग्रुप में आज 8 बजे प्रेयर हुआ। आज हमारा शमानिक रेकी का भी अट्यूनमेंट था, फर्स्ट डे ऑफ अट्यूनमेंट हैपन। शमानिक रेकी जो मैं पूरे लेके आ रहा हूँ, पूरा हेल्प करने के लिए दुनिया में, शमानिक रेकी, उसका आज फर्स्ट अट्यूनमेंट था ऑन एकादशी एंड ईद। सो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी एंड एक्साइटेड। तो लेट्स सी द बीज कम। मैं पढ़ता हूँ कि नहीं तो आप लोगों को टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना चाहता है। इट्स अ वीकेंड एंड संडे। The bees come. When the flower blooms, the bees come uninvited. Invited Ramakrishna. Okay. We came to Maharaj's feet. Maharaji matlab Ninkaroli Baba. We came to Maharaja's feet, impelled by our yearning for the living spirit and drawn by his light. We came from Europe and Great Britain and the United States and Canada, Australia and South America. लिख रहा है क्योंकि हम लोग हर जगह से आया है, यूरोप से, ग्रेट ब्रिटेन से, यूनाइटेड नेशन से, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स से, कनाडा से, ऑस्ट्रेलिया से, साउथ अमेरिका से. As Herman Besse said of the fellow travelers in his journey to the east, each had his or her own special reason for making the journey, but all also shared a common goal. सब लोगों को हर को अलग अलग कुछ रीजंस था, इंटरेस्ट था, लेकिन सबका एक गोल कॉमन था. वी केम विद आवर वेरिंग ह्यूज ऑफ सिनिज्म एंड फेथ, ओपन और क्लोज्ड हार्टेडनेस, सेंसुअलिटी और एस्थेटिज्म, इंटेलेक्चुअल एरोगेंस और ह्यूमिलिटी. अलग अलग सोच, अलग अलग डिवोशन, अलग अलग माइंडसेट, अलग अलग स्पिरिचुअलिटी के बारे में हो, एस्टिज्म, एनीथिंग, सेक्सुअलिटी, एवरीथिंग डिफरेंट. लेकिन टू ईच, एक एक लोगों को महाराजी रेस्पॉन्ड यूनिकली. महाराजी यानी नींकरोली बाबा यूनिक वे में. हमेशा नींकरोली बाबा या कोई भी बड़े बड़े गुरु है ना, वो यूनिक होता है. गुरु लोग बहुत है, लेकिन उस गुरु लोगों का भी गुरु जो होता है ना, वो बहुत यूनिक होता है. बहुत यूनिक वे में दे टीच, दे डू द थिंग्स. नाउ फियर्सली, फियर्स वे में, कभी टेंडरली. नाउ थ्रू इग्नोरिंग अस. बाबा के बारे में सुना होगा, डांटता था, मारता था, इग्नोर करता था, गुस्सा करता था, प्यार करता था, सब इमोशंस शेयर करता था, और सेंडिंग अस अवे. ए निकल जा. बाबा बहुत क्रोध भी, बाबा को गुस्सा भी आता था, निकालता था, लेकिन उसमें भी एक मीनिंग छुपा था. नाउ थ्रू मेकिंग मच ओवर अस, नाउ थ्रू रीडिंग द माइंड एंड हार्ट, नाउ थ्रू प्लेइंग डम, he did what was necessary to quiet the mind and open the heart so that the thirst that had drawn us all to him could be slaked. सेम स्टीव जॉब्स के लाइफ में हुआ. मार्क जकरबर्ग लाइफ ऑल्सो सेम थिंग हैपेंड. द फाइन ट्यूनिंग ऑफ योर माइंड टू कनेक्ट यू एंड फाइन ट्यून यू विद द डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस. दैट्स गुरु, सेजेस, मास्टर्स डू. दैट्स व्हाई दे आर द ग्रेट मास्टर्स, रिवर्ड वंस. नींकरोली बाबा भी वही करता था. आपकी जो क्लटर्ड माइंड, कंफ्यूज्ड माइंड को कामनेस एंड सेरेनिटी देना था. ब्यूटी ऑफ माइंड को, क्या है ब्यूटी ऑफ माइंड, he wanted you to realize and learn. I was traveling with a young Western fellow in India. We had come to the mountains in a Land Rover had borrowed from a friend. याद सुन लो, Land Rover में आ सकता है, मतलब how much rich he would be. I was traveling with a young Western fellow in India. We had come to the mountains in a Land Rover had borrowed from a friend. In order to find this fellow's guru to get some help with his visa problem. I was in a bad mood, having smoked too much with hashish. उसी टाइम अभी भी है, जैसे स्टीव जॉब्स हो, रामदास हो, they all very much fond of all this hashish, marijuana and all. They were just like hippies. They were phenomenal men, dynamic, enterprising ones. They wanted something to create differently, लेकिन they were directionless. They were directionless. उन लोगों के लाइफ में डायरेक्शन नहीं था. तो डायरेक्शन के लिए they were always searching where we get the direction. और नींकरोली बाबा जी से गुरु लोगों से They got the direction. They got the light and enlightenment. Not particularly wanted to visit a guru anyway. He was not at all interested to visit a guru anyway. The following is adapted from the book Be Here Now. We stopped at this temple and he asked where the guru was. The Indians, the Indians who had gathered around the car pointed to a nearby hill. In a moment, he went out of the car and running up the hill. I will keep it like this. Otherwise, I will keep this. In a moment, he was out of the car and running up the hill. They were following him and appeared delighted to be able to see the Guru. I got out of the car. Now I was additionally upset because everybody was ignoring me. I ran after them, barefoot, up this rocky path, stumbling all the way. I didn't want to see the Guru anyway. And what the hell was this all about? What the hell was this all about? Around a bend of the path, I came to a field overlooking a valley, and in the field, under a tree, sat a man in his 60s or 70s with a blanket around him. Blanket around him. Surrounding him were 8 or 9 Indians. हमारे इधर भी ओ व्हाट ए coincidence मेरे जो लाइव अभी जो बाबा के चमत्कारी सबको चाहिए, गुरु लोगों के आशीर्वाद सबको चाहिए, फ्री में सबको सब कुछ चाहिए. सब फेसबुक पेज, व्हाट्सएप पेजेस, टेलीग्राम पेजेस ज्वाइन करेगा, लेकिन ऐसे रिवर्ड गुरु लोगों के बारे में सुनने के लिए you will find time to watch YouTube, you will find to scroll reels after reels, but you won't find time to come live and watch somebody is talking about that miracle on the reward ones. That's the way it works. Sad. Good. जैसे बाबा के पास जो कंबल वाला बाबा जो पेट के नीचे खड़ा बैठा था, उसके पास भी 8-9 लोग ही था. मेरे इधर भी 8 लोग का थम्सअप दिख रहा है. 5-8 लोग ही है. बिकॉज आपको आपके घर में काम है, आपको आपके घर टीवी देखना है, मोबाइल में देखना है, रील्स में देखना है, रील्स बनाना होगा, सोना होगा, पार्टी करना होगा, या घूमना होगा, या सुट्टा मारना होगा. लेकिन किसको टाइम है कुछ अच्छा काम करना, और किसके पास टाइम है किसी के बारे में अरे बात नहीं करता, अभी क्यों मेरा टाइम बर्बाद करना है, व्हाई टू वेस्ट माय टाइम, राइट. लेकिन कल के दिन सुबह उठने के टाइम या आज सोने के टाइम कुछ डर, कुछ दर्द, कुछ परेशानियां हैं और आपको प्रॉपर नींद नहीं आ रहे. कल के दिन सुबह उठने के बाद यू वरीड अबाउट द डे. The prevention is better than cure. Prevention is better than cure. प्रॉब्लम आने के बाद डील करने से is better. Prevention is better than cure. And the better prevention is spiritual protection and shielding. Okay. Surrounding him were 8 or 9 Indians. I was aware of the beautiful tableau, the group, the clouds, the green valley, the visual purity of the foothills of the Himalayas. My traveling companion ran to this man. My traveling companion ran to this man and threw himself on the ground. Doing Danda Pranam. That's called a full length prostration. So my traveling companion ran to this man and threw himself on the ground and doing Danda Pranam. That is called a full length prostration. He was crying and the man was patting on the head. I was more and more confused. I stood to the side thinking, I'm not going to touch his feet. I don't have to. I'm not going to touch his feet. I don't have to. I'm not required to do that. Every now and then this man looked up at me. And twinkled a little. His glances just made me more uncomfortable. Then he looked at me, started speaking in Hindi, of which I understood very little. Another man, however, was translating, I heard him ask my friend, "You have a picture of Maharaji? You have a picture of Maharaji?" My friend nodded. "Yeah." "Give it to him," said the man in the blanket, pointing at me. "That's very nice," I thought. "Give me a picture himself." It was his own picture, and this man was wondering. The blanket man was directing his friend to give the picture, his own publicity, his own picture. Wait, that's very nice, I thought, giving me a picture himself, and I smiled and nodded appreciatively, but I was still not going to touch his feet. Then he said, "You came in a car, big car." Yeah, I had wanted to borrow the car in the first place, not wanting the responsibility. The car was a source of irritation for me. He looked at me, smiling, and said, "You will give it to me." I started to say, "What? What?" Deleted the rest. But my friend looked up from the ground where he was still lying and said, "Maharaji, if you want it, you can have it. It's yours." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. Now, wait a minute. You can't give away David's car like that." The old man was laughing. In fact, everyone was laughing except me. In fact, everyone was laughing except me. Then he said, "You made much money in America." I reviewed all my years as a professor and smuggler and very proudly said, "Yeah, how much did you make?" "Well," I said, "at on time," and I sort of upped the figure a bit further to inflate my ego. $25,000. The group converted that into rupees, and everybody was awed by this figure. All of this was, of course, bragging me on my part. I had never made $25,000, and he laughed again and said, "You will buy a car like that for me." I remember what went through my mind at that moment. Although I had come from a family of Jewish fundraisers, you know that Jewish men are very shrewd businessmen, filthy rich ones, cunning. I had never seen such hustling as this. He doesn't even know my name, and already he wants a $7,000 vehicle. I thought, well, maybe, I said. The whole thing was by now upsetting me very much. And he said, "Take them away and give them food." And so we were given magnificent food, and then we were told to rest. Sometime later, we were back with Maharaj and said to me, "Come here, sit." So I sat facing him, and he looked at me and said, "You were out under the stars last night." This, of course, was the English translation of what he said. "You were thinking about your mother." Yeah. The previous night, a few hundred miles away, I had gone outside during the night to go to the bathroom. The stars had been very bright, and reminded I had remained outside, feeling very close to the cosmos. At that time, I had suddenly experienced the presence of my mother, who did die 9 months previously of a spleen condition. It was a very powerful moment, and I had told no one about it. She died last year. She got very big in the stomach. She got very big in the stomach before she died. Yeah. He leaned back and closed his eyes and said in English, "Spleen. She died of spleen." What happened to me at that moment, I can't really put into words. He looked at me in a certain way, and two things happened. They did not seem like cause and effect, but rather appeared to be simultaneous. My mind began to race faster and faster to try to get leverage, to get a hold on what he had just done. I went through every super CIA paranoia had ever had. Who is he? Who is he? Who is he? Who does he present? Who does he present represent? Who does he represent? Where is the button he pushes to make the fire appear? Why have they brought me here? None of it would gel. It was too impossible. It was just too impossible that this could have happened this way. My traveling companion didn't know about any of the things Maharaji was saying. And I was a tourist in a car. The whole thing was just inexplicable. My mind went faster and faster. Until then, I had had two more models for psychic experiences. One was, well, it happened to somebody else, and it's very interesting, and we certainly must keep an open mind about these things. That was my social science approach. The other one was, well, I'm high on LSD. Who knows how it really is? After all, I had had experiences under the influence of chemical which had created whole environments. But neither of these categories applied to the situation. And as my mind went faster, I felt like a computer that had been fed an insoluble problem. The bell rings, and the red light goes on, and the machine stops. My mind just gave up. It turned out into circuitry. It seemed to have an explanation. I needed something to get closer at that rational level, and there wasn't anything. At the same moment, I felt this extremely violent pain in my chest and a tremendous wrenching feeling, and I started to cry. I cried, cried, and cried, but I was neither happy nor sad. It was a kind of crying I had not experienced before. The only thing I could say about it was it felt as if I had finished something, the journey was over, I had come home. He felt finally found home at the abode of Ninkaroli. At the abode of Ninkaroli Baba, finally, Ramdas R.D. found that he found home. He found home at the feet of Ninkaroli Baba, in the heart of Ninkaroli Baba. His life started changing. And now I'm reading out from his own book. So what happened? His on the first encounter, his Ramdas' first encounter with the blanket Baba. From there onwards, it has become history. His story, the story written by Ninkaroli Baba in the life of Ramdas. So, whose story is it? Who is the he in this history? The he is none other than Ninkaroli Baba. Just like Sai Baba had directed somebody to write Sai Satcharita. Similarly, many writers had written books by the guidance, divine guidance of some gurus or the consciousness. Same way, Ramdas was led to meet Ninkaroli Baba. He was destined to do that. He met him, Mila, the husband गया. डाउट से गया था, डाउट से बैठा था, डाउट ही डाउट किया, लेकिन लास्ट में रामदास को मालूम पड़ा कि यही है मेरा घर, यही है मेरा सब कुछ, इधर से मेरा नया शुरुआत. My identity, my realization, my awakening and awareness are going to happen from here. And then he became the devout follower of Ninkaroli Baba, the one who was completely surrendered to bad habits, smuggling money, all the things. He became a bhakt, a devotee. Bhakt, जब होगा तभी भक्ति होता है. Devotion never happens alone. You need a bhakt, you need a devotee to perform devotion. So, like I was explaining about Ramdas, you have to become a devotee to really experience devotion in your life. Bhakti yoga यही सिखाता है. भक्त के बिना भक्ति योगा किधर है? तो भक्त तो चाहिए, तो आप भक्त बनो. You become a devotee with the pure devotion, unconditional divine love. Before winding up, I will regularly come, don't worry. Before winding up, I wish to read about Baba. Wait. One day, Maharaji asked to be driven from the plains to the distinct mountain town of Bhimtal. He went straight to a devotee's house and told the people there to go to the old pilgrimage rest cabin at the Shiva temple and bring back whoever was staying there. For years, no one had stayed in the let down in the ignored rust cabin. So the devotees thought it was very unusual when they found one of the doors locked from within. They knocked and shouted, but no one answered. Then they returned and reported to Maharaji. Maharaji left that house and went to see another devotee, where he again sent people to the rest house with instructions not to return without its occupant. They caused a great commotion at the door until finally an old man opened that window. He tried to send the devotees away, but they persisted until finally the man and his wife were taken to Maharaji. Immediately, Maharaji started shouting, "Do you think you can threaten God by starving yourself? He won't let his devotees die so easily. Take prasad." He called for puris and sweets, but the man refused them. Maharaji insisted, and finally they both ate. The couple had come from South India on a pilgrimage to Badrinath and other holy places. They were from a very rich family but had desired to leave home and family behind to devote their remaining years to prayer. They had resolved to pray their own way and never to beg. As they were returning from Badrinath, all their money and possessions had been stolen. They had only enough money for bus fare to Bhimtal, where they found the deserted rust cabin. They resolved to stay there and die, since that seemed to be the Lord's will. They had been locked inside without food for 3 days before Maharaji forced them out. Maharaji insisted that they accept money for their trip back to Madras. They said that they would not beg. Maharaji said they were not begging, and they could mail the money back when they reached home. They accepted the money and were sent off. O Kabir, why be afraid of anyone when the Lord Himself protects you? What does it matter if a thousand dogs bark fiercely when you are seated on an elephant? I'm repeating, O Kabir, why be afraid of anyone when the Lord Himself protects you? What does it matter if a thousand dogs bark fiercely when you are seated on the elephant? A guru, a master, is like an infant. There will be problems around you. There will be barking around you. There will be fierce things around you walking against you. There will be a lot of adverse situations, circumstances, and people who are, or the situations are, ready to pounce upon you. But if you have a guru or a master like the elephant, you will be untouched. You will be untouched. You will be untouched. Maharaji became known as Neem Karoli Baba, which means the sadhu from Neem Karoli or Neep Karori. This was many years ago, perhaps when Maharaji was in his late 20s or early 30s. For several days, no one had given him any food, and hunger drove him to board a train for the nearest city. See, the couple who left their home, the richest couple from Madras who left their home, and when their possessions, the money were stolen, had taken away, they decided to succumb to a room and uh, uh, expected the gods, the divine will, to end their life like that. But Maharaji found them and brought them out from that isolation. He had given them money and sent them back to Madras. When they were ignoring, not accepting the money, as they said, they don't like to beg. He said, "It's not begging. When you reach, return my money, send it back." And the same Ninkaroli Baba, who found people who were starving, who were in hunger, who were hungry, who were starving. Once he was also rejected food. Once he was also rejected food. बाबा को भी लाइफ में सिमिलर सिचुएशंस हुआ, मे बी इसके वजह से होगा। बाबा जो भी ऐसा फंसता था, जिसको भी खान भूख लगता था, जिसको भी तकलीफ होता था, ही यूज्ड टू फीड देम। जो भी काइची दम जाता था, द फर्स्ट बाबा का जो फर्स्ट चॉइस और प्रेफरेंस वाज, कंसर्न वाज, बाबा का फर्स्ट हॉस्पिटैलिटी वाज टू फीड देम। मे बी खुद नहीं मिला इसलिए दूसरे लोगों को खिलाता था। लेकिन आज के दुनिया में ऐसा है, तकलीफ उठाकर कुछ लाइफ में पाने के बाद, कुछ अचीव करने के बाद, दे फॉरगेट देयर ओल्ड टाइम। They never go out and feed others. They will go and overfeed the cows to cure and heal their malefic effects in the horoscope. अपने हॉरोस्कोप में प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व करने के लिए और पैसा या ग्रह का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए गाय को ओवर खिलाएगा। यू विल ओवर फीड दम। लेकिन कोई भूखा होगा नज़दीक में या दूर में, आपके पास पैसा होगा, आप खिलाएगा नहीं। आपके पास खाना बनाने का ताकत होगा, एक्स्ट्रा स्टफ होगा, यू वॉन्ट डू दैट। इफ यू हैव एक्स्ट्रा क्लोज एट योर प्लेस, घर में एक्स्ट्रा क्लोज हो, यू वॉन्ट शेयर, यू वॉन्ट शेयर विद द नीडी। क्योंकि हम भूल जाते हैं, हम भूल जाता है, लेकिन बाबा ने नहीं भूला। ही ऑल्सो वॉज इग्नोर्ड फूड, इसलिए जो भी खाइची दम जाता था, ही यूज्ड टू फीड दम, ही यूज्ड टू फीड दम। कोई भी एम्प्टी हैंड नहीं जाना है। दैट स्टिल दोज हु विजिट काइची दम, दे नेवर कम बैक एम्प्टी हैंडेड। If you had been to Kaichi Dam experience, for several years, no one had given him any food, and hunger drew him to board a train for the nearest city. When the conductor discovered Maharaj is seated in the first class coach without a ticket, he pulled the emergency brake and the train grounded to a halt. After some verbal debate, Maharaji was unceremoniously pulled off the train. The train had stopped near the village of Neem Karobi or Karori, Neep Karori, where Maharaji had been living. Maharaji sat down under the shade of a tree while the conductor blew his whistle and the engineer opened the throttle. But the train didn't move. For some time, the train sat there while every attempt was made to get it to move. Another engine was called in to push, but all to no avail. A local magistrate with one arm who knew of Maharaj suggested to the officials that they coax that young sadhu back into the train. Initially, the officials were appalled by such superstition, but after many frustrating attempts to move the train, they desired to give it a try. Many passengers and trail officials approached Maharaji, carrying with them food and sweets as offering to him. They requested that he board the train. He agreed on two conditions. The railways officials must promise to have a station built for the village of Neem Karori. At the time, the villagers had to walk many miles to the nearest station. Second, the railroad must henceforth treat sadhus better. The officials promised to do whatever was in their powers, and Maharaji finally reboarded the train. Then they asked Maharaji to start the train. He got very abusive and said, "What is up to me to start trains?" The engineer started the train, and the train traveled a few yards, and then the engineer stopped it and said, "Unless the sadhu orders me, I will not go forward." Maharaji said, "Let him go," and they proceeded. Maharaji said that the officials kept their word, and soon afterward a train station was built at Neem Karori, and sadhus received more respect. Whenever Maharaji left Allahabad to the Vrindavan, there was always such a procession, sometimes as many as 18 rickshaws full of people going to the train station. On time, we were all lined up and the procession began. I directed the drivers to the shortest route, but Maharaj intervened and insisted they go to the long route. Many devotees were gathered along that route, all of them hoping for one glimpse of darshan as he was leaving. These last darshans delayed Maharaji and Siddhima, and the mothers with whom he was to travel were all on the train. It was my pleasure in those days to attend to such matters as reservations, so I was busy seating the Mars and seeing their needs. Maharaji was still outside of the station with the devotees when the engineer and the conductor signaled for the train to start. I thought, oh my God, what will happen? Amansa will stay on the train with the mothers. I can't let them go alone. And but for a full 4 minutes, the engineer struggled with the trains but could not make it budge. Strolling slowly with his devotees, Maharaji came into the platform. As he boarded the train, he shouted at me in English, "Get out!" As soon as Maharaji took his seat, the train began to pull away. That's the story. That's a few stories. There are lakhs and lakhs of stories to be heard, to be followed. You will you will hear from me in coming days. Please join me. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the channel. You want to hear about the wonderful, miraculous stories of such revered ones. Your life will become revered, blessed. Thank you, everyone, for sharing this live. Thank you, everyone, for showing the compassion and devotion. Thank you, everyone, for the support that you have extended to me. Once again, happy Ekadashi and Eid Mubarak to all the wonderful people out there who are extending unconditional support to me. Thank you so much. Take care. God bless you all. Good night.